check, mic. Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. Hey, you will make it TV followers, viewers, supporters, and listeners across the globe. Thank you for clicking on another live inspirational topic here with myself, audio host Miss Arthur Tedashiri Whitney, Arthur and audio host, and we have dedicated the month of October 2025 to bringing more awareness, shedding more light and awareness on uh, real domestic violence, the realities of it. Because to me, you don't just talk about the physical abuses or the abuses that come with domestic violence. I think sometimes it's also about talking about those preventative measures or ways that we could edify ourselves or become more knowledgeable in these arenas of affairs so that they can be prevented more, okay? Um, we're here to discuss another story that grabbed my attention, caught my eye, grabbed my attention for many different reasons. Cause I said, "What's up with this new trend of supposedly quote unquote successful people or people who first set out on a journey to chase their dreams or something like that? Why would they suddenly quote unquote spaz out or end up falling down with depression?" Because they say this young lady supposedly, well, she was just found unalived in her apartment, and they are concluding that it might have been a suicide. Okay, so that's why her story is viral right now. Her story is being heard across different platforms around the world. So we're just here to talk about that a little bit because um, a lot of her old video recordings and clips are being, I don't want to call them old. What's crazy about it is we would say these were most recent recordings she did before, she was no longer here with us. Because, see, I try to tell people check that. We live in social media era today. If people want to know what happened with a person after they already left her, where is one of the first places they go check to see, okay, what was this person going through, or how was this person feeling, or maybe we can find clues. They go and check their social media platforms. Remember to hit the like button. That just lets us know that you guys are tuning in and showing your support. I'm switching up my recording spot really quick, so y'all give me a second. Okay, so I had to switch my recording spot real quick so that y'all can hear me a little clearer. But yeah, I just think that's odd. Like, you want us to believe a person that just set out to make their whole dreams come true suddenly feels depressed, suddenly feels suicidal and lost. It's like they be trying to prove to certain people, like, yeah, this lifestyle ain't for you. And they can't wait to record when you look a little bit under pressure or a little bit under stress, so they can say, yeah, this lifestyle, this career this person was chasing really wasn't for them. And because what is a valid reason you're going to give me that somebody who was literally have competed at the level of a contestant, she participated supposedly in many Miss Jamaica pageants as a contestant, and I was just paying attention to it because I also used to, y'all don't have to believe me, ask me about 2 years ago, I thought I would be in the career and industry of modeling myself. It's not about, oh, I think I'm pretty, or I was set out enough to be a model. It ain't even that. There's all kind of models. There's all kind of different beauty pageant competitions across the globe, right? And there's all kind of different models. So I just see more and more how God probably could have been sparing me from that whole industry altogether. Like, God knew probably my intention and my motive, and how I probably could have blew up going into that industry if I really wanted to. But then look at it. And it's like whatever be going on with these quote unquote industry sacrifices, as you see, it doesn't just happen. Not saying she may be a victim of that, but I am saying it because it's so crazy. If you go back and listen to some of her previously recorded live segments where she just was sharing her experience, she looked pretty much happy if you look at her physically, like a lady that's trying to tell her story. But people are paying more attention to those last lives, she recorded on her platforms. And I was like, here we go again. People waiting till after somebody gone to, oh, let's see if we can find clues and see if we can see what we saw. What was she showing signs of depression and all of this? Because it sounded like to me it started with some toxic work environment stuff that she might have been experiencing. Once again, RIP to this young, beautiful, aspiring model. I don't want to just say model, but Miss Universe competitor, right? So you're going to tell me a person got into their lifestyle and the pressure was too much, and then they just couldn't take it and they got so depressed that they took their own life. Like, how many times are we going to see this same narrative about why a person unalived themselves? See, they know suicide is a common thing, or that it's not uncommon for people to go there, but why aren't we taking more preventative measures, right? Even if in the world of succession, there are therapists and psychologists and stuff people can talk to. Now, this is what made me mad when she was trying to tell her story before they found her like that. She was clearly saying that it was like, because I don't know what's wrong with people. Like, a person know how to go check their self in to a mental health facility if they need to. People like that, they have connections, they have competed on major levels, and if you have every other connection and you have money, or you're some type of success star, when would you need help or assistance just going to go ask for help or assistance? I hate when people do their own friends and family and loved ones like that. They can go check in for help themselves, because she said one day she was at work, her job was tripping. Next thing she know, some of her family members had popped up there at her job. It's as if they already had it planned. To be honest with you, they popped up at her job talking about, you're not well, sweetie. Let us take you in to the mental ward. That's crazy. Don't you think if a person feel like they need to go there, because intervention is real. Intervention, y'all know what that is, where everybody, even with intervention, that's more to be respected, because you sit a person down somewhere. You sit them down and you talk to them. That's the point of intervention. You're not popping up on them with some surprises, or just trying to go drop them off at the mental home. The point of intervention is for you to explain to the person in that moment why you think they need help, how long you might have been watching them, the list of other people that say you might need help. That's the intervention. Intervention is not just for drug rehabilitation. Intervention could be used for any level of, mental health. Because, yes, there might be that small percentage of people who still fight, like, oh, no, I don't need medical care. You can do that with mental health. You can do that with your physical health. You can do that with dental care, hygiene. There are just some people that sit there and put certain levels of their health. They delay it and delay it and delay it. That's still their personal right and choice. All you can do is kind of be like an interventionist a little bit. Maybe be the person that love that person and tell them from time to time, hey, I think you need to go get help. Other than that, that's their independent right to live their life without health care. Am I tripping here, or does anybody else agree with my opinion? Like, it's your personal choice if you want to go check in for any type of treatment. Even cancer patients, they don't force them to go in for chemotherapy. They don't force them. They advise it. They strongly advise that they start treatment right after diagnosis. But really, they can't make nobody. Like, when have you heard somebody being penalized and arrested because they declined chemotherapy? So why would you look at any other level of healthcare any different? Healthcare comes down to a few things. Number one on my list, consent. Consent, because healthcare is just healthcare. But if a person don't come in there and request healthcare, there's no reason to ask for your consent to start treatment about anything, right? So to me, healthcare has a lot to do with consent. C-O-N. Am I spelling it right? Consent, yeah. Consent. And notice even the word consent starts with starts with the prefix or root word con. C-O-N. Consent. Nobody should be passing out healthcare treatments or trying to set up plans to make a person look like you need to go ahead and give us your consent so we can start treatment on you. Healthcare has always been ain't it a person's will and right whether they come see you or not, or whether they, I wouldn't care if you see a big lump right there on their eye and it's been there for 2 years and you feel like they should go get it checked out. If that person don't want to go get it checked out, how you gonna force them to go in for treatment for something? But you have been seeing this new trend. I wouldn't think it's a trend, or I wouldn't think it's something that's this obvious if it wasn't. It's just really crazy. Like all these conscious, successful people, suddenly we're just supposed to believe, yeah, they came down with a sudden Down syndrome, with a certain depression, with a certain mental health condition. And the last you heard was that person was chasing their dreams and goals. Get out of here. Get out of here. Just like this young lady. That's all she was trying to do. Chase her dreams and goals. Because guess what they're going to call you if you're doing nothing at all? And you're black, they're going to call you lazy. They're going to call you an imbecile. They're going to say you're not trying to help to the benefit of society. You're just being lazy, right? Hold on, y'all. I'm finna give more of my opinion on this matter. This is just anything I state on this stream tonight or early this morning. It's just my commentary and reaction, my personal opinions. Please do not get offended. But none of our streams are to quote unquote, single anybody out or make them feel uncomfortable. But some of these topics will be uncomfortable because guess what? It's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And people do not like talking about abuses that should not be going on, especially in healthcare. It's so stupid how people scandalize and use and abuse healthcare, quote unquote. To me, it just comes back down to consent. CONSENT, right? And we talked about the root word of consent being con. It's like because people know that consents are needed for treatments, I feel like people abuse that. Because, of course, a person that don't come and check their own self in a hospital make it make sense to me. If they didn't come check their own self in a treatment center, even if they suffering from depression. You know how many people walking around here suffering from depression, untreated with no mental health care at all. To me, there's people who walk around with depressions with clear signs of it. There's others that show no signs at all. Like when incidents like this young lady's happen, sometimes they're confused because they like, well, to us, she looked happy. She looked blessed. She looked like she was living the career she wanted. So I'm making it clear with some depression on people, yes, you can see clear indications and red flags. With others, let's remember, sometimes they don't show a sign at all. Or it could have been there for a longer period in which you first saw them showing signs. Like people don't show immediate signs of what they suffering from right at the beginning. 12 years later, you could be assessing somebody studying somebody saying, wow, did this person have depression this whole time? Sometimes that's the case too. They had it the whole time. The signs of these traumas just don't come out till later. And that's a real thing when we talk about the education and awareness of trauma. Number one, trauma is one of those things too that's easy to get in, hard to get out of if you think about it. Whether it was invoked on you or this was some kind of self-induced trauma. Either way, it's one of those things that's easy to happen to you, to anybody, but trauma does not just heal overnight, right? And even if she was crying for help or people feel like she was showing signs of depression, that don't mean that she didn't have it longer. You see what I'm saying? That she wasn't showing signs longer. I just feel like people pay attention to people when they want to. A person could have been suffering from depression since the age of 16, 15 years old. You just say, oh, now we need to pay more attention. Oh, now the signs are clear. Make that make sense. The earlier the diagnosis, all we're trying to encourage people, the earlier the diagnosis. It's never too late to get help. That's not what You Will Make It TV is saying. What we're saying is the earlier the diagnosis, Black community. Not that you should just be walking around begging for a diagnosis, but it's okay. This is where checkups come in at, infrequent checkups. People talk about how we need to go get checkups pertaining to our physical health. Why? It should be mandatory people get the kind of ways that people been spazzing out lately. Mental health, quote unquote, checkups should also be mandatory for adults and children, at least every 6 months. Just like you would go get a checkup for anything else to make sure you have a clean bill of health, right? They'll say, oh, person's on their shit. They go get checkups for their physical health. And it's not to put anybody down, but are they checking on other areas that they healthy in too? Like, just look at it as a checkup. You just going to go get checkups for blood tests and for physical things. What about your mental health? Now, if the therapist, the psychologist say, well, yeah, I don't see any problems with you, at least you can say, you have been checked up. You can show on your medical chart at will if you needed to, right? Because they was like, we need to get to know people better out here. Ask them for their medical records. Ask them for their background records, right? Y'all just be jumping with people. Well, the person seemed like they had a good character, so I dated them. That's not knowing a person, though. That's not really technically knowing a person. Did they show you their health records? And some people, they not even asking for that no more. They somehow getting access to go pull your records on their own. Yeah, because to me, there's a difference from trying to get to know somebody, like taking the proper steps to get to know somebody because you feel like they lying to you or you feel like they hiding something, right? But invasion of privacy is still a whole thing, and invasion of privacy is one of the number one reasons a person could end up feeling depressed. What you mean? They no longer feel... I mean, I know there's some psychologists out there that agree with me. Why wouldn't the act of invading somebody's privacy or their... Yeah, come on, bro, because privacy can be mental too. We're talking about mental health, right? Privacy, like people... Like, that's why people say invasion of thoughts. Like, that's a whole mental health condition people can have where they feel like their thoughts are invaded more than the next person. Whatever's causing it, whatever led to it, this is their reality. And I forgot what that's called, where they just have intrusive thoughts all day, right? I'm not here to judge it. I want to understand and communicate through awareness that some people actually live that reality. Just because you have schizophrenia, bipolar, or something like that, or you suffer from depression, don't mean you suffer from it every day. It's like having a bad knee. Some days it give you problems, some days it don't. Amen? And that's just how mental health is, right? And we always regret these stories where it's like, why I didn't see signs, why we couldn't have did more, what was that person going through? By the time they have already, quote unquote, ruled their unaliving as a suicide. People don't just sit there and do that for I don't know. It just had my mind open a little more. Like, they clearly don't go that far and just want to check out of here for no reason, bro. And she clearly said on one of her streams, her video streams, that she was recording, because you got a right to steal. Models, they're very much known to engage with social media. Let me say that for a second. That's why you have IG models, like people in any industry, they use social media now. They use the internet. Yeah. You guys can leave some of your open thoughts and opinions and commentary. You're always welcome to do that in our comment section or in our live chats while we're live, because sometimes a little more awareness. I'm not the one who is specialized in all these areas of topics that I talk about. Sometimes you have real people that have real experiences too, who just needed the platform to share those experiences. That's all. That's all that is. So, um, once again, RIP to her. Condolences and positive thoughts and prayers with her surviving loved ones, friends, and maybe even people she worked with who knew her talent in the industry. But that's the thing about being a go-getter, though. You can't let it encourage you. I promise you can't. Because, see, you'll end up suffering from depression, too. Literally. Money make people go there all the time, whether they're admitting it or not. People know that money is a main reason that people fall into depression, bro. Whether they're greedy, some people fall into depression about money just because they're greedy, though, in my opinion. Some people fall into depression about money because they don't have enough, or they don't have what they feel like they need when it comes to money, you know. And to me, that's weird too, because like in a pretty much free modern day world, anybody that wants to get money should be able to go get it. So it just make you look at something like, what the hell is going on out here? If you seeing whole go-getters being the ones behind the scenes unaliving themselves, like, what did you get depressed about? We ain't even talking about money yet. We're just talking about being a go-getter. Not many are gonna make it to a Miss Jamaica pageant. They not even gonna make the cut, bro. I've been to like auditions, right? Not to Jamaican pageant auditions, but I've been to maybe modeling auditions before in life. Just an experience here or there. I don't talk about much. Because maybe you just didn't go that direct. I'm telling you, I brought it up to say that everybody not gonna make the cut. Everybody not gonna make the cut. I'm going to say it one more time for the people in the back. You coming to the audition, just like with American Idol or anything else, does not mean you're going to even make the cut. That's just you auditioning to be one of the contestants. You see? One of the contestants. You competing does not make you guarantee or promise that you're going to make it first, second, third place in competitions your first year. Even in your first 5 years competing. We were talking about that on the stream yesterday with basketball and football, because we were talking about the importance of positions in one another's lives. What are people using their positions to do? And we're going to keep asking this question for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, because abusing your own position, how is that not abuse? Even if you're abusing your position in your own life, what you mean? Or you can abuse your position because you can share a position, like what's your position to another person. You know, you force people. It's almost like God allows the things he let go on in life just to see how long it's going to take people to. Because the signs is right there. You saying, oh, these are signs and red flags of depression and mental health. Signs be right there. So why are the same signs reoccurring in different people's lives? Don't call God crazy. God may very well sit there and allow certain things. People thought people just go through things. But see, my mind being at a different level with that. Clearly, circumstances, trials, tribulations, and issues in life could be created or brought before us through a plethora of different ways. Look how you can be known as for that, literally. Like, that's a part of your reputation, too. People be wanting your reputation to just be tarnished on every level. But some things you can't deny. If that person a go-getter, they're a go-getter. They have to do with money yet. That just means what do they known to do when they do need it, when they do need to make a way for themselves. They already a go-getter. As they should be. We don't get brownies and cookies for that. We grown. Everybody should be out here wanting something. Have enough inspiration, motivation to keep going for something, for some reason. And that's a little bit about what our channel is about. Because some people do maybe need a little help sometimes. Like finding motivation or inspiration just to keep going. And that's okay. You'd be surprised some of the places I found inspiration and motivation. It depends on what's going on. But like I said, a go-getter is just a go-getter. They have nothing to do with money yet. They always associate somebody being a hustler or a go-getter with money. They're bad. They're bad. Go-getter does not have anything to do with finances. That means with anything. When it's time to go get it, that person known to do that. So once again, if you've been on a level like this young lady, like you already have made the cut just to be a contestant in certain high-level competitions, everybody ain't gonna even get to do that. Of course, she might have had some envy that surrounded her, and we ain't always talking about the family. Like, when you come out from a different place, like a different background, a different poverty, financial state, all of that, depending on where you come from, that's great. You change your life. You a go-getter. Your go-getting skills done took you further. But do that mean everybody gonna be happy for you? Because look, she suffered from depression, obviously so greatly. They're trying to rule her unalive and already to suicide. That is currently what's going on with this young lady's story right now. She openly admitted feeling that depressed sometimes before, probably not even the day she did it, but the days leading up to what happened. And that's why they do try to, when it comes to awareness, tell people, like, even if it sounds like they playing about it or making a joke about it, or to kind of, it could be a red flag, like, hey, that could be a moment where you can try to get them help. But I don't like that advocacy tries to force people, in my opinion, to do that. Because all you can do is extend help to that person. We do have to understand that people have rights. They have a whole right to decline consent for treatment. Period. It's sad, but it's true. People decline interventions and they could have something serious going on. Serious. Like the doctor say, okay, we need to do this operation. There are still people in the world that be like, no thanks. Or they be like, I want to go get a second, third, fourth. I don't care if they want 12 opinions before they let somebody cut on them. Why are people not respecting people's boundaries? Like what we used to see. Yeah, that could be sad if a person say, yeah, take me off take this person off life support, or yeah, sometimes you give consent, and then sometimes I feel like the arena of consent should be respected more. Make sure you can tell that person, you can get them 12 pages. You the doctor, this is 12 pages of your condition and the possible symptoms and side effects and how they could get worse if you don't let us do this treatment, right? All you can do is like better explain to them their condition and why you think they need treatment, in my opinion. Even with mental health, if you think a person smoke or drink or do anything too much, like, hey, you need treatment. Treatment is treatment when it comes to care. Mental health, physical health. If that person is old enough of age, they have enough mentality, because if you're competing in beauty pageants, you're far from stupid. I'm sorry, I'm not saying disabled people, because they do have pageants and stuff specifically for them. I know a lot about it, a little bit, but it's like they have all kind of pageants across the globe, all kind of different competitions and stuff. That's the main thing I wanted to share when it comes to my reaction and commentary. Like, can we bring the respect of consent back? Literally, please, in these modern day times. Because as fast as you have things advancing and modernizing, that don't mean that everybody have to sign up for that. Like, well, do you have an email? Think about it. Most applications you fill out, Applying is still not approved. Applying is still not, you deserve it. That's just the application process. Most application processes, I don't care what it's for. School, work, just in modern day times, like most applications ask you a lot of personal questions. It's like they could be like, oh, they could tell you all day long what they need these answers for on the application, but it is true. Like, it's gonna ask you a lot of, like, what's your address, what's your race, everything. When just applying, because this is supposedly you just applying, showing things about yourself why you feel like you deserve the position. We were talking about that on another stream earlier. The whole topic was about positions in life. Some are applied for, some are handed. Some people have them handed to them, or they born in it, or they were recommended, or they were selected. How did people earn a position? I'm that type of person. You can't just throw a position in my face like, yeah, look at it. Oh, okay. I respect positions, so I might want to think in the back of my mind, well, how did this person get this position? You mother, or you stepmother, or you wife, or what are you? What's your position in this world? And some people wear more hats than others. They can be a grandmother, a mother, and a stepmother at the same time. Because guess what? Your biological children make you a mother. Your children that kind of you adopt because you marry somebody can make you a stepmother or stepfather. You can be a mother, father, stepfather, father, and a grandparent at the same time. Ain't that something? Like, you can literally live that many positions every day. Do that mean you physically present in all those positions? How can one person be at multiple places at the same time anyway? But this the kind of unrealistic expectations that people do place on some people. Like, just because she competed as Miss Jamaica don't mean she was ready to carry her whole family or the whole world on her back. And she's young. Okay, you push the young people into stardom, but you can't really blame them if they wasn't ready for the pressure. They get all the way into stardom and then realize, like, oh, I wasn't ready for the pressures that come with this. You do see some people fall out the spotlight. We don't know why, but they have a right to. Remember we was talking about consent? They might feel like, to me, that's healthier anyway. That's a healthier decision. Like, oh, never mind, I don't want to be in the spotlight. Maybe it ain't that easy for some people too, depending on who they are. Any of the Jackson 5, for example, can just decide, I don't want to be in the spotlight no more. It's going to be kind of impossible for them because of, because of the positions they once had. Once you're known as Michael Jackson's brother, it's kind of hard to stay at the spotlight. I'm just trying to give an example. Or, you can fall out the spotlight. That don't mean that it won't easily find you again or something like that. That don't mean that everybody can handle those pressures. Yes, everybody think that goals and dreams should be chased more at an early age. But that don't mean that everybody be ready, literally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, if even possible, ready for the position that people be trying to push them into. It probably wasn't even meant for them. And you keep trying to squeeze them in the box, and they keep popping out the box like Jack in the Box. Like, I feel like God be allowing things to go on, not because he's an evil God. They say he's a good God. Just so people not gonna have an excuse like, oh, I didn't see no signs, no things of the world that told us that the world needs to change. Ain't nobody gonna be able to say that. You can complain all day long about how imperfect and crazy the world is, but if God was letting the stuff go on, how can you say you didn't see no signs of just like preventable issues in the world? That's not even climate change or the weather. This is people's mental health when we talk about domestic violence awareness. Because, see, remember we were saying it shouldn't just be about how you can abuse others or others can abuse others or hurt people. We understand that level of advocacy with domestic violence awareness. But look, people can harm themselves. That's called like self-harm. That's called self-abuse. And yes, that can be a thing too. And most people you see do that, it's some people do it because they've seen signs in kids as early as 5 that'll just get angry and start going. They'll go off somewhere and just start. I'm not being funny. I'm using this as an example. They'll go somewhere and just start banging their head. Literally, they've seen babies as young as 2 and 3 take out their traumas and frustrations and pain this way on themselves. It's called self-harm. They might go bang their head up against the wall or just start slapping themselves. Some people, they bite their nails, right? Like, some self-harm ways can be more dangerous than others. Yes, I agree with that, but the actual reality of self-harm is very real, and you shouldn't just talk about it when it comes to suicide. There are other ways that people harm themselves every day. Like, they just be abusing their own self. They be whole abusing their own self, bro. That's a little deeper than self-sabotage. Like, you just hurting yourself, and then it's like, how extreme is it? But yeah, in my opinion, all you can do is maybe go as far as intervention with people. You can't make somebody get chemotherapy if they don't want it. You can't make somebody get it vaccine. That's why people was confused during the COVID-19 pandemic when suddenly you were like, yeah, this is a mandated vaccination. Like, what would people do if now certain levels of healthcare they can now be mandatory? Not just on a government level, but then you got to look at how people close to you can also jump in and be like, yeah, I think you need this kind of treatment or care when it comes to mental health or physical health. If you ask me, this is my opinion. Let's bring consent back. That's going to clear up so much. That's going to change so much in itself. CONSENT. And we discuss how the prefix word just happens to be con. Notice how when they call somebody a con artist, or cons have usually been associated with negativity. Like, there's pros and cons, right? Cons would be those opposites, or those, I don't know how to describe it, but we know what the prefix con, C-O-N, is usually associated with. And people should still have free consent. Notice people can even go to whole other countries and they come back here with a whole Brazilian butt lift or a whole body operation. Okay, so clearly healthcare in other countries is prevalent, sometimes even cheaper, I've heard some people say, depending on what the procedure is you're getting. So obviously they believe in consent in other places of the world, is my point. They believe in consent. They don't just start cutting on somebody and give them a Brazilian butt lift. That person signed some papers and 9 times out of 10 gave consent for them to start that kind of operation on them, even if it's a BBL. They don't just wake up and do that on people. People are signing consents for this stuff. So how dare you come in just the mental health part of health and try to tell people they don't have a consent to what you begin to do to them or what you thought they should sign up for as treatment? I don't understand that. I'm not going to let it trouble me in life. I just think it's something we could pay more attention to in regards to as far as awareness and advocacy as well, because people have a right. Unless you're a vegetable, right? Which is a sad thought for anybody to become that, because that pretty much means brain dead. And we know if you're brain dead, it's kind of hard to make decisions for yourself or control when you wake up, when you go to sleep. You're brain dead. And that's what they usually call a vegetable. Unless you're that, why can't you have an opinion about your life? And you, I don't care who it is, and you a certain age, you can have a decision about your life. One thing I do respect about the Dubai princess and her father and how they handled her divorce recently, They gave her, because that might not be prevalent all the time with the women and their culture and their religion and stuff over there. Like, but she had some type of opinion to consent. You know what I'm saying? When it came to divorce or even getting married, because sometimes they don't have a choice in that either. They choose who they marry. Anyways, y'all, because I could ask deeper questions like, well, what if the spouse passes on? Some cultures and religion believe you should never get married again, even if your spouse passes away. We're talking about the kind of circumstances that could also lead people down a path or uh, real experiences of depression, right? Your whole spouse passes away. Or somebody, y'all didn't hear those stories about how one with elderly people sometimes one of the spouses die and the other one will die shortly after. They say they die of heartbreak, like it be hard for them to try to continue to live their life every day. They already old. They already like an older age where, cause older don't always mean unhealthy. But they say they think they be dying from heartbreak, like not physical heartbreak, but actual emotional, mental heartbreak. So with me, I mean, in my opinion, I feel like suicide might be linked. You know what it could teach us about people that go there, cause that's not even suicide. You dying shortly after somebody you love died. That's not always. It's they don't do nothing to themselves. They just pass away. They get that emotionally burdened. Their body just shut down. Like, and science has showed us this happens to people. Not just probably people of old age, but that's where it is more prevalent. Like somebody you was with 45 years passed away and then you shortly pass away. You can't tell me there's not something deeper about mental health somehow that is literally physically linked to our physical health. That's not even you harming yourself. That's you dying of heartbreak. Like you couldn't take it no more. Like, and your body literally shut down like that. Your organs, your blood flow, your heart, everything just stop beating because you got that broken down over heartbreak. So I do believe there's a God, especially when He keeps us in a mental and emotional way. That don't mean you're trying to make your issues non-existent. People swear if you carrying yourself in some type of joyous light, though you're going through things that you're trying to hide some or that you're just not an authentic person. I remember a word came to me, and God was like, I'm going to let your vulnerability show a little more. And I was like, because anybody that heard that, they might say, what? Like, or they just wouldn't choose that. But does that make people less authentic? No. I just feel like nobody would really want their vulnerabilities to show. If they exist, some they do use their vulnerabilities as a crutch. Because to me, a vulnerability can be very temporary or very long term. Notice vulnerability and disability is two different things. To me, a vulnerable situation or a sensitive situation can probably be healed. A disabled situation can be healed as well. Disabled probably is more of a long-term thing. But yeah, it's two different things. Disability, vulnerability. And nobody would really want those to show. But I wouldn't say that makes you fake because you just continue to live and chase your dreams and live your life, because you're not going to be able to control whole vulnerability and disabilities all the time. All you can do is try to control yourself. You can't control how people accept your vulnerability, view your vulnerability. Is how you carry your vulnerability or your disability. But I know those models do probably be under a lot of pressure sometimes. Modeling is one industry they definitely try to pretty much keep you in a perfected light, not just when you're working, but outside of work. So I'm really shocked too, it's just crazy. Like, don't you think they're some of the most sought after people? Your model could be a person, I could be a person, but because the model is the model, she just might be a more sought after person. Like, have more fans and everything. Okay, so she could be a model, I could be a regular person. But you know what's crazy about life? We might both have a cell phone. That model might have an iPhone 17. This person in the modeling industry, I have a regular Android system phone. Guess who would be the more like if a whole criminal had to decide like, do I want to follow this model or follow this regular person who's just a little pretty? Or I want to follow this model because it wouldn't just be their. Maybe sometimes it is, but I was just saying, I was just talking about this. Like, possessions come with the position. I think people be chasing people possessions and not always their positions, but I also feel like it's very real for people to envy and chase your position too for those reasons. Like, they don't even talk to you about it. It's just like, bingo, I want your position. And we were talking about how, if not careful, that can also be because there are healthy ways to compete for things or to prove who's the better for the position. Like, there's whole healthy ways of that. Even when jobs promote people, I'm sure that there are healthy things a person can do to exhibit, like, hey, I'm the one for this position. I'm sure there's healthy things a person can do, not just, oh, let me put a barricade block in front of a person so they stumble. No, there's like whole healthy ways you can compete. That's not healthy. The person could trip over that. Now they delayed 20 kilometers in the race because somebody threw a whole boulder in the middle of the field. People ain't gonna like that. Like, you bringing back the healthy topic of positions. Because everybody serve different positions. That's all you got is a bunch of people trying to knock people out their position or change their position and fix it how they think it should be. You can give a person credit. Why am I talking about this and not the young lady particularly? Because I don't like to be disrespectful. Like, I know these people in their real lives when I hear these stories. But what I will do is like look at, I don't know why, maybe I can just easily feel what they might have been going through. It's really powerful. Like, if you that young, the family, the your agents, everybody might feel like, yeah, this young person is ready to carry the weight of the world on their back. What do you think Miss pageants are about? Miss America, Miss Brazil, Miss Australia. These are real life, huge competition pageants that not every woman will get to always compete in. Some with those competitions, some are once again recommended. Like, somebody scouted them, saw them, and might, refer them to the agency. Because this one model story I heard on TikTok, she was just out shopping and a lady saw her. That it was either a lady or a man. No, it was a lady. Like, she felt like she just spotted it. Like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? Thank God she talked to the lady. But you got to be careful with those kind of offers because this story was from like the 80s or the 90s. Even back then, I'm sure they had to be careful with certain offers. That's what people don't understand. They'll be like, you got all these talents and you ain't taking no offers. Then they try to retaliate like, well, we're gonna steal your likeness because you won't accept our offers type of deal. Still a form of abuse. That's not healthy competition. But we're using the world of modeling and pageants to like describe some different scenarios that a person could be going through when they're in that industry. That is a top industry known where once you get in one of those contracts, people be like, you don't belong to yourself no more. Contracts don't always have to be negative though. Like, do we have to go back to the history of contracts? Why aren't both parties negotiating to where they're both comfortable at the start of a contract? But anyways, with those things, you can be nominated in, scouted, you can apply to get in those pageants too. But see, there might be a list of qualifications. Maybe one of the qualifications is that you cannot have a background. It don't mean it can't change, but certain competitions, if you have stuff like a criminal background, you can't even apply to. Yeah, it don't even have to be a certain charge or nothing. If it's on your background, period, and you applying for Miss Kansas or Miss California or Miss Florida, Miss Texas pageants, it's a different type of work. I'm not hating, but I know that it's probably more that come with those because you already got so many people pulling on you like, hey, this photo shoot, hey, this is. They constantly working. You can get in a contract and your whole life change. That's with anybody. Them people that thought, no, that person's with me. I own that person. That's the thing. Depending on what kind of contract they just got into, which has nothing to do with other people, because we were talking about consent. Now they have new responsibilities. You just signed a contract. What does that have to do with the people you know and the people around you? And nothing. You signed that deal for that house. You signed that deal for that car. You signed that deal for that job or that contract or the Miss America pageant. Some people sign up for their position. Nobody recommended them. They put themselves on that application. Are people able to show that in their lives? Like, no, nobody handed me this like a deck of cards. And you're going to get some no's in life and you're going to get some approvals in life. Yeah, nobody just handed me the whole. It was kind of like more like, where's Waldo? Like, you had to get out here. Because the Bible do say, seek and you shall find. So we love that book too. Where's Waldo? It's just a cool game where you can turn the pages and they're going to have a list of things that you have to spot in a bunch of little images. It might say find 9 cats. And you got to look through the images and really try to find 9 cats, like in a crowd of people. The kids that are good at the Where's Waldo books, they're special people in the world because it means they can like find stuff even in the midst of chaos, right? It's really not actually uncommon. It's just like, do they apply this kind of pressure to their lives too? Like, in Where's Waldo, you're not going to find the images in the picture unless you're actually applying your intellectual, like you're actually putting energy into like, okay, let me try to find the items that this book is. We was talking about that on a segment yesterday. Like, there's whole people that dedicate their lives to going to look for treasure though. Like actual treasure spots. They believe it's like some Indiana Jones stuff. Like, they just believe it's still treasures hidden and buried. Yeah, because if you don't have the people that serve their positions with that, how are you continuing to collect information or find out what's going on somewhere? Because when I get my opinion on historical artifacts, Like what I feel like I see and know now, I feel like it's certain, just like Indiana Jones and certain movies kind of showed and portrayed. Maybe there's certain ancient artifacts that people shouldn't even touch, like just because they feel like it's a treasure. It's a treasure for us to see this and take pictures of it and touch it and stuff like. But maybe you're not even supposed to do that. We were talking about how certain traditions and cultures would actually curse the treasures after the person died. They curse it in a way like if somebody were to obtain it or try to steal it. Because why do people think very wealthy people don't know that? It's so silly. Well, when I say very wealthy, like in Egyptian culture, what do you think the mummification processes and burying of royals in tombs, tombs? Y'all think they just put them in there? No, they put their organs in there, they riches in there, everything that was sacred to that person. And then they would do rituals like we're gonna cover this treasures that we're burying with this person with their $1 million ruby necklace on. We might have some of their riches poured into the coffin, if you will, or the mummy tomb site. You think they just left their riches in those places? No, they cursed it. They did certain rituals over it. So if invaders or intruders were to come there and try to take it, that's not related to the bloodline or the ancestors didn't approve of it, why would you think people just leave riches and not do that? Or bury people with their riches somewhere? You think it's just there. So I feel like certain ancient artifacts shouldn't even, they just shouldn't be, but there are people that just do that for a living. They go out and they find treasure maps. I was watching a movie about that not too long ago. It wasn't a true story. I think it was. That's what's crazy about it. This couple's riding on a trip for a vacation from work, and they riding, and some people are panhandling. Just a couple people. So of course the wife is like, "Honey, stop. Let's check on those people." And every movie that they do that, something crazy can happen, and it's just crazy. It just be people trying to help people on the side of the road. Because helping them with their car is one thing, but letting them get in your car, you taking them everywhere just because they was out there panhandling, it is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe some people ain't doing it for positive reasons. Like, they picking people up all right, but are the people making it to their destination? Like, some people. Because to me, moving distances and actually traveling is two different things. Traveling is you actively moving on the road or the air or the sea. You actually in motion. That's what the word traveling would mean. So everybody that use that term to describe somebody or something, make sure you know what you're talking about. Because traveling and just being at a distance is two different things. If you traveling, ain't you in motion? Like, you moving, like, boop, boop, boop. That's traveling. Flights, train rides, Greyhound, something like that. That's like constant movement. And believe it or not, I think people just get older. Like, that really happens. You get older, you start enjoying being at home more and more and more. Or just not moving around so much. Either way, there's no perfect way to live to me. Like, unless you do it through Christ. And even then, it's not perfect. It's only perfect through Christ. There's no perfect way to live. Whether you traveling or just at a distance or had been in the same house for generations, it don't matter. People be like, "Oh, I'm this and that, so I'm gonna tell you I got a whole." I was wondering why things look. They might have whole other kingdoms behind them already. Even that though, if there's a real God, like who, It don't mean that the weird concept of taking over the world, evil taking over the world, it couldn't be possible. But it's like, once again, it goes back to positions and possessions, right? If somebody is another person, people, or their position is being the ruler of a certain people. We saw this before in the Bible a lot, where God sent deliverers. It wasn't that everybody was always down with the agenda. God himself would send deliverers or people to come speak a message of wisdom that nobody had thought for 400 or 500 years or generations. They like, we never thought of that idea at all. Maybe this person is of God. People don't just walk around like a fairy tale believing in that, believing in God and his power. Because trust me, people will flex their positions of power. Not talking about the young lady here on the segment. We're just talking about life again. And because keeping people out of their funk. If you can come out of depression, there's other people staying out of it too. But it can be a severe disability for some people. I just believe it don't have to be. And people are not used to what that would look like. They swear, according to your circumstances of what you should be feeling on the inside, they should see you in a more depressed state. Notice, when people experience emotional traumas, people might look like, what is your response? It's called trauma response. They have whole trauma response teams. You just never thought you'd see the day people build themselves up in a way where it's like, yeah, I see the trauma too with everybody. It's like you just learn to live your life with a broken arm or like with a disability. But you still living every day. You still cook breakfast, or they might see you in a wheelchair. You still live your life like a normal person every day. You could think about the trauma every day. Like, how did I end up in this wheelchair? I've seen stories out here, millions of them. People definitely still live their lives with disabilities. I've even seen a story of a blind couple, like both of them was blind and they were married. They have the assistance that they need to still live common everyday lives, and they had spouses. Anyways, with this story already, people have their different opinions, like, because I believe that too. You can just say anybody. If that person was alone and isolated, how would a person know if they just unalived themselves, or if it was foul play involved? But you kind of have to let those kind of investigations unfold on their own, I guess, because something could be in the news now, and then news also has updates and stuff. People forget that they have like whole updates. Like, no, never mind. This is what's going on now, or this is what we found out. This is the update. So you can't always jump to conclusions just because you see a news story either. That's just my belief. Uh, Not everything in the news just stay like that. Like, stories progress, especially if a life was like involved, a life taking involved. We were just talking about self-harm too, though. Why would a person who is on the route and road and have experience modeling and going to pageants, I think what it is, they hurry up, push their young one in the family into that. But I've seen it too many times. I don't always mean that person is ready for that, because you force it upon, you put that. If they can carry weight that wasn't meant for them, they can carry the weight that is meant for them. I do still say anything is possible. Uh, you can reach great heights. I'm bringing up the age though, because I think she was only like, she wasn't no older than 25. So that can kind of be a sign. You want us to think everybody that just touch a certain level of success, go crazy, end up doing a little drugs. It's like, who handed it to them then? Because if they wasn't doing it before, what's going on? Like, where they even pick it up at? Where they even start picking up? Like, some people go to college, that don't mean they have, as far as emotional and mental health, that don't mean they have a good year. They might go through the motions, get their courses and schoolwork done. They might have a few peers they associate with, because you can see that anywhere. Like, uh, I heard another story before. They was bullying the old man at work all the time, and he took his wife. Like, that dude I can see how it gets to some people. Just like, you whole trying to make that person believe that that's their life. Like, I own your life, I'm a bully you. Not saying she might have been going through that, but in her lives that are kind of going viral right now, she would talk about, just in her own way, some of the burdens she felt like she was experiencing at that time. And we not talking about like no sideways talking about it, like kind of straight out. Like, yeah, I just been going through. Some people say she was a victim. That's why I'm talking about it. They say she was a victim of gang stalking her. It's beautiful Miss Jamaican contestant, model contestant. Just to even make it as a contestant is a big honor. Once again, you probably have to have a clean bill of health, a clean background, just certain things to even be nominated is one thing too, because sometimes even when you're nominated or recommended for things, that's fine. That's just that step. They have a right to look at, oh, okay, let me see why this person recommend this person to me. Like, they might want to see. They not just finna invest and put you in the Miss Jamaican or Miss America pageant, one of the highest competitions of modeling. They're not just gonna put you in there and you don't bring nothing to the table. So they put her in there. What weights might she have been carrying? If, like I said, news stories progress, but right now they're trying to rule it as a just like a self-unalive. You can't use certain, I think, terms, the full word of certain terms on here. That's why I was saying suicide or self-unalive. But that's what they're trying to rule. And with a lot of these stuff, it's just crazy. Like, I used to just look at life, if the news say that, and be like, well, that's sad. Like, another person took their life. I never looked at it like that. Like, or with some of these stories are just suspicious. Why would the person be on a career path, happy about what they're chasing and their dreams and goals, and then get depressed out of nowhere? A part of it, like she said, her family ended up at her job after she getting a little, probably minor confrontation, and start noticing some stupid stuff at work, because it can happen at workplaces. What are we talking about? Just toxic environment stuff. And you want people to just like, oh, just overlook it and make your money. No. People have a right to make their money comfortably, like without human rights, whole human rights being violated. Because with most applications, like we were just talking about, you have to apply for stuff. That's another one of those personal questions it might ask you though, because I was listening to what she was saying. And one of those questions I mean, one of those application questions could easily say emergency contacts. We all know what that means. Why? Because on most applications, for stuff they might ask for that. References or emergency contacts. Period. So I do think it's good to check in with people before you probably use them as emergency contact. That's the first thing. Like, don't just be writing people's name on stuff. Are they aware that you're writing them? Because emergency contact, that's a whole position in life too. You can easily be written down in somebody's stead on something or for something. Usually that's somebody you trust, because most applications it's not even going to be submitted. They're not going to accept it without those references or emergency contacts. It just depends on what it is. Like, did people know that? Okay, because if she was saying they end up just like popping up at her job, like, honey, we not saying that's the reason why she did this to herself, but if she was kind of experiencing stuff like that, that's all it is. That other people, families, individuals of the world can learn from this story too. Like, come on, honey, come with us. We feel like you need some help. Like, that's real invasive. You gonna come to my job and talk to me about it? You're not the police or nobody. You just like people close to me trying to be interventionists. That's what she might have been feeling like. Whether I didn't watch the whole thing, whether she said she ended up going with him or not, but I think the story said they found her in her wherever her like home was supposed to be. So it is kind of sad. Because that is different if you found somewhere else. Like, what would that be? But, and you was already, like, saying that there was accusations talking about recorded. They got it written down as recorded signs of mental health barriers. What? Because she shared her life on social media, I'm noticing with some people they're trying to make that look uncommon, and with others it's okay. They'll put a like or a heart, entertain anything anybody might be sharing on social media. And with most people, it is their personal lives, their pets, their animals, their families, their cooking channels, all kind of stuff. But everybody don't pay attention to this person. They crazy. Just really trying to control a person's light like that. Because it looks like she went through that. Yeah. Just start trying to steal their light. Like, no, we're not going to forget her light. And we shouldn't only show the light or talk about the light or reference to the light on people's lives only when they gone. Anyway, everybody was born, they say, when a sperm and an egg first meet, a spark of light happens. If you were to watch it on like some kind of deep telescope where you can see the womb when the process is actually happening, when the sperm and the egg first make contact, we already know it creates like a fetus or whatever. But when it first made contact, scientifically they found out that a spark of light happened. So you can't tell me that people are not born with like whole LIGHT, like some type of association with light. That's the deep thing about it. Good morning, world. Happy Sunday. Today's date marks 10/12/25. Okay. We're on, we could be on all kind of different time zones. So I noticed some of y'all don't catch the lives till later. But you can always hit the like button, subscribe, show your support later or when y'all catch us live. It doesn't matter because we never know when we come on here. Just know we do our insightful topics weekly. Okay? Uh, Everybody's born with some kind of association to light, though, because why? I guess when it comes to humans, for sure, because why when the sperm and the egg meet, there's a spark of light that happens, even if it's like a quick 3 seconds, maybe even 1.5 seconds, like poof. 1.5 seconds is a long time when you're talking about the speed of light, though. It seemed like a short time because you're talking in the terms of seconds, but like one second, it might even be like 0.5 second, not even a whole one, like a spark of light. Because they say light is one of the quickest. Light, panthers, or is it cheetahs? There are some things that's just known for its absolute speed. That's why I say light can't ultimately just ever be defeated. Whatever it is with human association with it, like sperm and egg, boop, it meets, boop, spark of light. Now you're born with this light that you carry, and that's what you call stealing somebody's light. Like, oh, they suddenly crazy. Who started the trend that even if people are crazy, you're just supposed to treat them a certain way? Who started that weird trend? Like, no, they don't deserve celebrity status. No, yeah, this traumatizing them, all this attention. Yeah, they suddenly depressed. Uh, they don't want their own position no more. Don't pay them no attention. How is that not stealing? That's already putting a person through that. Like a person everywhere they go trying to steal a piece of their life. It too. If you just went from Miss Jamaica pageant to, oh, this person suddenly crazy. No, that ain't adding up. Pageants are more than about standing up there looking beautiful. They talk about their lives, what they aspire to do, what they come from, how they was raised. They have like interviews with the models. You have to model in different ways. It ain't just about standing up there looking beautiful. Like they might be a part of the competition. It come with more than that. And now it's just like, oh honey, you're sick. You need mental help. Like why? Because the person felt like they might have been getting gang stalked. What are they telling people, that gang stalking ain't real? It's already been kind of like, it wouldn't be a definitive term if it wasn't real, like something you could actually refer to. It's just a matter of like who be on it. Like you might not always know that, but if a person feel like they are going through that, nobody's saying this for sure, but it's alleged that she was recording videos, just kind of like trying to give out hints and signs that it was happening to her. How you go from Miss America, Miss Jamaica, Miss anything pageant to that? It's sad. Then you like, oh, this person just got depressed. Don't blame it on depression. Even if they got depressed, that can't be easy to be going through. I'm just saying, to me, some reasons that people fall into depression is very valid, like understandable. That person gets into a certain lifestyle, career field, and then suddenly, or contract, like I was saying, suddenly all a piece of their life is being attacked. They have no more privacy, because people like to take that like they want what they want in the world, and it's just crazy. Some people's privacy is a whole piece of their life that people desire, and they don't even be paying attention to it. Like, no, girl, you don't have your own life. You still caught up in the world with us. You're deep into what we are and what we do. You don't have your own. Cause that's why I said I feel like consent should be more honored. Uh, if a person want to break a contract, people got to pay attention to that. Like, is your it when you go into the contract, that should be one of the things you're looking at. Like, is this contract breakable? Let's talk about a lease, for example. It's, some people break them. They signed the contract. Yeah, I'm finna get in here on this lease, but for whatever reason, people end up breaking contracts too. They might have to break the quote unquote lease or whatever the contract is, because now whatever was negotiable for whatever reason, it's not negotiable no more. And breaking whole contracts is a whole real thing. And that would mean somebody is giving consent, signing signature, like, hey, I don't want to be, people want to prove, like, yeah, look at all these contracts and connections I can have. But now, get it. Or do y'all even be able, that's who own your life now, like, do you be able to have the very sacred ruby of privacy? You could brag about stealing it from somebody, but then you're just making it more valid that you're doing it. Maybe people know it's a ruby jewel, your whole privacy, and they can just blame mental health as the reason that you don't have it no more. Oh, we trying to save this person, because clearly this person still ended up committing suicide. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it with an S, but like, yeah. You say you helping this person. We putting cameras on them. Clearly that whoever thought they had a good logic with that idea, it doesn't seem to be working out. Or following them everywhere they go. Whatever all supposedly come with gang stalking. Like, obviously, what is that method causing people to do? What kind of tactic is that? You're saying, well, the only way you can stop, that's what you're practically saying, is if you're in some safe mental home, some safe, quote unquote, safe psychiatric center. You mean to tell me that's your only way or response to somebody trying to tell you what's going on in their life? I wouldn't say you're forced to help, but you can't deny them their consent to saying this is my truth. And they probably gonna say that, like, see, this is why we were trying to get her help. See what happened? The whole time that person just trying to escape some stupid stuff that they feel like they gotta, come on, man. Plus, this story shows us that these type of things could happen to anybody, uh, just because of your position in life. Like, what do it all come with? Because possessions ain't everything. They keep trying to throw the excitement of possessions in people's face when clearly some of these possessions obviously are stressing some of the celebrities out. You can't even enjoy it too if you're like sick or dealing with too many problems. You can't even enjoy your possessions. Like, at that point, they would just be sitting around. You're not even enjoying them. Or people be having what you call excess or excessive, just like things in their life. Like, oh yeah, this is privilege. But if you got too many issues or too many watchers or too much pile of things, that ain't gonna it ain't gonna last long. The same God they will take it away. Thank you guys for tuning in, and until next time.